God is good. All right, got to bring a little bit more energy. It's been a long time since I've been here. God is good. All right, so brief introduction of who I am. So my name is Jordan Pierre. I was born and raised in this church. And I know I haven't been here for such a long time because the man right here, he said, "Who are you?" I said, "Damn. All right, I guess I haven't been here in a long time." So I attended Syracuse University. I graduated my bachelor's in broadcast and digital journalism and my master's degree as of this fall in television, radio, and film. Amen. So I'm a journalist by trade, right? What I'm known for is how I utilize my platform, though, to encourage young black men to understand the power of our voice, right? And I think it's essential and it's a very great message. And I also want to thank those that gave me the platform to be up here today, because I believe it's essential that we always make space for our young black men to also speak, right? And I'm from Gates Avenue, born and raised out here. And one of the first things they wanted me to do a tribute to black men. And I was writing down some things. I like to keep my messages succinct. And the first thing that came to my mind is the one statement that we need you. And I think that by itself is a powerful statement, is that we need you. Yes. And when I say that, what I mean is that as a young black man, there's many ways in which I feel as if the world is trying to attempt to make us feel as if we are invisible. But coming from the hood, one of the things I understood is that when people try to strip us of our history is when we need to teach it more. I'm from Gates, so I also know that if you understood your history, you understand that it was one thing we as black people always knew how to do, that's how to put up a fight. So during a time period where people are trying to attempt to make us feel visible, we feel like there's a lot of regression, that we got to find ways to do what we always knew how to do coming from the hood, is to put up a fight. So when I say that we need you, the reason why I'm saying we need you as black men is from a young black man perspective, is that we need you because you are our first reference of many things. What do I mean by that? It is through the references of seeing a black man treat a woman as how we first learn how we ought to do so. I love my mom. She did a great job raising me. But one of the things I have to make sure I always make sure I put a disclaimer in is that a woman can't teach a young man how to be a man. So that's where your fathers come into play. So Rodney Plummer, Pastor Plummer, is the one who raised me on how to become the man I am today. So while I applaud my mom, I wouldn't be as disciplined, as structured, and as eager to speak if it wasn't for Rodney influence in my life. So I'm saying that to say is that 80% of the households of single-parent households is of women. So when we understand the facts and statistics, we understand that for the fathers that are present in a household, I need you to not only be a father to your child, but also a guardian to those that are not yours. What I mean, Rodney is not my biological father. But Rodney played the role of my father. Did I always like the rules and things that he was teaching me when he was teaching me? No, I didn't like it. But I needed to be taught it. I got too many stories, but one of the first ones he told me was dare to be different. The second one was that excellence is expected. Why is that important, especially today? Because our young black men need to be taught that excellence is expected. What do I mean? When you take an exam, I want you to, when you succeed, that shouldn't be what surprises you. Failure ought to be a surprise. If I was to come up here, I just put down 3 notes and said I need to go speak because I speak around the world. So if I come here, this ain't the time to start seeking discernment when I got to speak in church. It's like, well, wait, should I? I don't know. Maybe they should have told me earlier. Nah, if I got to be here, I got to do it. So what I mean by excellence is expected. Anywhere I go, I expect to do excellent. If I failed, I'm surprised. I don't even go to sleep that night. I'm like, wait, hold on, what? How did I fail? I'm not accustomed to that. I succeed, and I expect to be excellent every time I get and do whatever I got to do, so I'm going to come up here and speak with conviction. So he taught me excellence is expected. The other one is prior planning prevents poor performance. As I'm saying it, I'm envisioning him in my mind because I didn't like when he used to tell me that. I had to iron my uniform the night prior I went to Eagle Academy for young black men. So even today when I went to college, when I graduated, it's certain things in form of discipline that I exhibit that some people's like, how did you get it? But it was through Rodney. So that's what I mean by how essential it is for a father to be present in a household. And if you can't be present in a household, I need you to be a guardian to those that you're not in a household of. And then I want to tell a story about Isaiah McCoy. I call him Brother McCoy now because he's an alpha. I wish he was here because he's the one that called me and said, I need you to be there, right? So when I was in Syracuse during 2020, some people don't know the story, but when we first came in, I'm from the neighborhood, of course. I get to Syracuse. It's my first time being around that many white people. I'm like, wow, what's going on? Okay, this is a culture shock. This is the first time. It's not like Brooklyn. I get there. I'm like, all right. So then when we get there, we had to do a protest the second semester, which is your spring semester. Why? Is because there was a lot of vandalization of the dorms we black students lived in. They was writing different words on the mirrors. And we, from where I'm from, like, all right. Well, I never heard nobody call us a certain word. And then I heard it, and then it's like, oh, man, they trying to bring out the Brooklyn in me. But you understand that you have a position and a platform that now I'm in Syracuse, you got to act a little bit different. It defeats the purpose of having access to new opportunities by acting like where I once was. So then we did a protest. It's like, all right. So we started to do a protest. And during that same year, we go into the pandemic. It's 2020. I call Mr. McCoy, or Brother McCoy, as I'll call him. And I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm out there transfer. I want to go to Morehouse. He like, yo, Jordan, be honest to you. Whatever you do, don't you leave Syracuse. He said there's certain things you just going to have to go through because it's going to make you a certain person that you can't foresee right now, but I need you to stay there. The reason why I'm saying that is because I need us also as black men to understand our contribution to the world is much more than just what's in our pockets. We live in a time period where they pushing economics. It's like, you got to get the money. Money is important. But that's not the only thing that's required to build a stable nation. So why I'm saying the story of Dr. McCoy is because his influence in my life as a mentor played an instrumental role in the young man I became. If I'd have transferred from Syracuse, I would never have said the graduation speech that many people know me as. Or know me for, which led to me being a speaker and traveling to other institutions and universities to speak. So what I also need my black men to understand is that your influence and your impact on the world is much more than just economics. I don't want you to think that you don't have worth just because you may not be in a financial bracket that you want to be in. And that's what the world can condition us to feel, and what comes at the expense of that is our history. What do I mean? They're defunding African American studies departments, but a reason they can use to justify it is that my generation isn't enrolling in the courses. All right. Why are we not enrolling in the courses? Because we don't feel like there's a correlation between understanding your history and making money. But your history is important. You need to know who you are and whose you are before you pursue anything. But that's how we gain to understand that you got to know that you're worth much more than just your economic value. But it is an importance of understanding how economics work. So my whole message, and then the other message I got to make sure I say is to my young black men, right? So there's an African proverb that says a child does not feel reaffirmed by his village, will burn it down to feel his warmth. And when I'm coming from the hood, I can see it in us. Like we rageful. We got a lot of anger. And we ought to be angry, but how we channel that anger into a channel rage is important. But to my young black men, the ones that can't hear my voice, I need you to know that for those that don't feel seen, to know that we see you. Those that don't feel heard, know that I hear you. And if you can't make it to the platform to speak, I'll speak alongside you or for you. For those that don't feel loved, know that you got a village that's willing to love and support you. So I got to make sure I say that message because I understand how it feels to be made to feel invisible. And they say, Martin Luther King said what? He said, riots is the voice of the unheard. But the other thing is that violence is the voice of those that was made to feel invisible. So if we ever want to stop the chaos, we got to make these young men first feel seen. You got to make them feel visible. So allow me to speak, I feel seen. I think a lot of us don't necessarily want to be celebrities or have a platform of notoriety. It's just that we want to feel visible. And it seems like we make those visible to have a platform. Celebrity, we see them. The scholar, we give him but so much. So we aspire to have a platform of visibility, not just of status. And if you see it in that lens, you understand that it's going to be hard for us to ever tell a young man not to do certain things or be around a certain group that makes him feel a sense of belonging. So in order for us to stop the fire or the burning down the village, we got to build a village that reaffirms them in their belonging. Right? So that's the message for today. And I definitely want to thank all the black men for the work that y'all are doing, that y'all continue to do. But I just definitely want to emphasize the fact that y'all are needed. Right? So again, thank you, and I appreciate it. Yeah.